Welcome to the Auction Block Podcast, straight talk from the block. Welcome your host, Garrett Riles and Benjamin Bishop.
Welcome to the Auction Block, straight talk from the block, brought to you by Riles Auctions. I'm Garrett Riles, and we've been doing auctions for a number of years now, whether calling, sales, moving equipment, and learning what it takes to make the auction world tick.
And I'm Benjamin Bishop, your co-host. I'm here to bring a fresh perspective, ask the questions, and keep this show grounded in what folks really want to know about auctions, and whether they're buyers, sellers, or if they're just curious and don't know nothing about auctions.
Today, we're diving into what makes equipment auctions such a unique and often underrated part of the industry. Whether it's agriculture, construction, or transportation, auctions are a fast-moving and powerful tool for moving iron, but only if you understand how they work.
Garrett, what makes equipment auctions different?
Let's break it down. What separates an equipment auction from a dealership or private sale? I don't know. 3 things. Urgency. Auctions have a deadline to meet. I mean, there's urgency there. You don't have time to shop around and go ask mom. It's bid or don't bid. And that creates momentum. Transparency. Everyone sees the bids. They're there. They're live. They're here. What's going on? They know who the backup bidder was most of the time. There's no behind-the-scenes pricing.
There's no dock fee. You know, a lot of dealerships, you go to a dealership and they're like, here's the sticker price, and then you get in there to sign the paperwork, and then there's just this list of added prices. There's the dock fee, there's the install fee, the maintenance fee, and all of that stuff. And so with auction, you know from the get go of what your money's going to be.
Yeah, you advertise your buyer's premiums up front if you have one, and then sales tax most of the time, and that's about it. And then there's the opportunity. You might pick up a deal at an auction, or you might sell something at a premium.
Yeah. And let's not forget at auctions are events, whether it's in person or in person with hot dogs and nachos. I'm going to be honest. That's kind of why I go to auctions, for the food. Good food trucks there. Or if you're online with bidders from across the country, there's energy in the air. Like, you can feel the energy at an auction.
That energy, it drives the results. That's what it takes to make an auction. You got to have good energy and good momentum. But it also means that you've got to come and get prepared and be prepared. And that's what this podcast is about, is making you smarter every time you show up to the block.
So, all right, Garrett, let's, I know, I'm kind of new to the auction scene. There's some myths about auctions. Can you debunk some of the common myths that you've heard about auctions? So let's get into the myths about auction.
Yeah, there are quite a few of those, and you'll hear different ones from different people. But one that kind of stands out to me is you can't trust what you're buying. They send it there for a reason.
Yeah, that was one myth that I had always kind of had that presumption about, is like, everything at auctions, there's a reason it's there. They couldn't do nothing else with it or whatever. But that's not been the case the last few auctions I've been to. There's been some good quality equipment there.
We've got good quality equipment, and then there is a reason it's there. It's because they want to get it sold for the most money most of the times, and they trust the auction process, and that's what it takes, is knowing the auction process and trusting it.
Yeah. What's what's another myth that you've heard commonly tossed around about the auction industry?
Let's see. You'll get ripped off. They think you're there and you're going to get a piece of junk.
Yeah. I've heard that. But that's not really the case. From what I can tell, it's a lot of times the bidders, the crowd, will kind of set the market on the item being bidded. So kind of break that down a little bit.
As far as the pricing goes, I mean, the bidders set the price in, and it don't matter where we start; it's where we stop at, and then we let them have control all the way. And if you do your homework and research the equipment and do your due diligence on it, you'll know what the equipment's worth, and the other bidders will know what the equipment's worth, and most of the time it gets right there pretty close to fair market value.
Yeah. and it's that whole supply and demand too.
Yeah.
Will kind of drive the market. But like you said, as long as the buyer does their homework, and we're fortunate having access to the internet nowadays. You can just about find 3 or 4 or 5 different pieces of equipment that are very comparable to the item being auctioned, and so you can have a pretty good comparison of what the fair market price is, and like you said, as long as the buyer does the homework, then they're not going to get taken advantage of. They're not going to get ripped off.
Yeah, auctions have changed a lot in the past. Maybe I don't know anything about it. Back in the day, they didn't have the internet. They didn't have all those ways of researching the pricing, and they had books that went out with what they thought past year's pricing was. But I mean, we're pretty fortunate to have access to what we have access to as far as that goes.
Yeah. All right. Let's tackle one more myth, and we'll move on to something else. So what's another myth that you hear a lot of first timers coming in talking about?
I get a lot of people. They want to know: do you have to be a dealer or be vetted or invited or anything like that to come to our auctions? And that's not the case. You're welcome to come, be there at our auctions. Whether you're buying a hand drill or a $300,000 combine, I mean, it's there, and everybody's welcome to come. There's no dealer's license you've got to have or be vetted or be invited to come. It's a public auction. The public is welcome.
Open to anyone and everyone, and you can keep your hand in the air for as long as you got money to back it up, huh?
Yeah.
So I'll admit, I had some of those thoughts myself when I first started learning about this world, this industry. But the more I saw behind the scenes, the more I realized it's not the Wild West. It's not a dog eat dog. But there's a real system here, especially at Ryals Auction. Y'all are top notch. Y'all are honest. Y'all are full of integrity. I mean, y'all really have a niche here at Ryals Auction. So let's segue. We kind of debunk some of the myths of the auction, but let's kind of go behind the curtain, behind the veil, if you will, and let our viewers know how the auction process works. What's some kind of the step by steps of how the auction process works?
Taking in consignments. That's what we do first, I guess you could say, is locating equipment and talking with the individuals with the equipment and getting it consigned to the auction. And then once we've got it consigned, getting it advertised, getting it all over social media, brochures, radio ads, getting it everywhere we can, get the maximum exposure for that equipment. Start by doing that and getting people to know what's coming to the auction so they can be prepared to come. And then once they know it's coming, next I guess would be the inspection point. You come in and you're welcome to come when the equipment arrives on the yard. Come in, look at it, check it over. Make sure it's what you want. I want you to be comfortable with what you're bidding on. I want you to come and put your hands on it. I don't mind answering questions myself, but I'd prefer you to come, put your hands on it, and be there in person. But one thing that we do a little bit different, I know it's hard when we're selling nationwide, worldwide even. It's hard for somebody to drive halfway across the country to look at this one tractor that they're really wanting. Some people do it, but we offer free FaceTime inspections, so you can call us. Call my dad, me. Well, my dad does it mostly, and you can call him, and he'll video it, FaceTime you. If there's anything you want to see inside the cab, underneath it, under the hood, anything you want to see, we're going to show it to you and let you know exactly what it is. We're going to show you what you're getting.
Yeah, man, that's something to be taken advantage of right there. I mean, I don't know of any other auction company or any other proprietor out there that is offering a FaceTime video inspection. I mean, that's hats off. I mean, that's commendable. I mean, you're literally going behind the curtains and showing buyers what the equipment is. I mean, there's no hidden agendas when you answer that FaceTime video inspection. You're the buyer's allowed to ask, show me underneath it, show me these hydraulic lines or drive lines or whatever, and they can see for themselves via FaceTime of what that equipment's really if it's really cracked up to what it's supposed to be, you know.
It's 100% free. We don't charge anything to do it, and I wish people would take more advantage of it than what they do. And and it's starting to catch on more and more. And we're not going to call a lemon a peach. If it's something wrong, we're gonna show it to you and let you know up front, so that way you have 100% confidence when you're bidding. But you got to take advantage of the opportunity there by doing that.
For sure. And then, of course, those that are local and those that can. So any time during the week, Monday through Friday, during, you know, typical business hours, you know, kind of 8 to 5, they can come on the yard, look at it, drive it, operate it, you know, and kind of get some hands on if they're local.
Yeah.
And that's good to know as well. All right. So we got the sellers, we've got their equipment there, and then we've kind of started educating the buyers of what's there and allowing them to look at it and that kind of deal. So what's the next step? What happens after that period has kind of come to an end? What follows suit?
It's sale day.
Sale day, auction day.
Yeah, it's time to go.
And so
whether you're online or on site, we go live and fast, and it's a lot of energy and a lot of moving parts, and it's really a lot of fun.
Yeah, and like we mentioned earlier, you know, the auction, it's fast paced, it's full of energy. I've heard it described as organized chaos. You know, and that's, you know, that's kind of fitting. You know, there's a whole lot of moving parts to it, but it is organized, and it's energetic, and it's fun, and it's exciting. Whether even if you're not in the market, it's great entertainment. It's great pastime just to come and to experience it. So all right, let's just say I'm a buyer, and I'm there on sale day, and you know, I've got my checkbook in hand. I've got, you know, I've got a little money to spend or whatever, and the tractor comes up that I've been eyeing, and I'm the last one with my hand up at when the gavel drops. What happens next? What does the closing part of it look like for me as a buyer?
We're going to sell it to you, put it on your bidder number. You'll get a number at the office every morning when you check in, and ours are permanent, so once you get a number, it's the number that sticks with you, and you can come back to the next auction, and you don't necessarily have to check in. So you'll have a number, we'll sell it, put it on your number, and after a little bit, you go to the office and pay, and my wife, Abby, or my sister, Leanne, or my sister-in-law, Molly, they're there, and they work the office, and then they'll collect your money and give you the paperwork that you need for the equipment that you bought, and then you're ready to roll.
All right.
Mr. Arlen's going to load you up.
It sounds pretty exciting, sounds pretty straightforward. So I just, you know, go to the office, settle my affairs there, and then of course can't forget Mr. Arlen. He's top notch, and
he don't know he don't realize how much help he really is. He's really good at what he does, and he's kind of low key, but he really makes things happen.
You know, the few days that I've been around him, you know, in the previous sale and stuff, one thing I noticed with Mr. Arlen is every piece of equipment, every tractor, everything that he's a part of loading or unloading or moving around, he treats it like it's his personal equipment. He's very delicate with it. Yeah. And that's, you know, hats off and a round of applause to Mr. Arlen for treating everybody's stuff with the same respect he would treat his own stuff. So there's more going on behind the scenes, right? Like market research, advertising strategy, reserve price planning. So let's kind of get into the nuts and bolts of that. Like what is the market research and the advertising strategy? What does that really look like? What can your sellers expect from Riles Auction to get them the top dollar for their equipment?
We're running Facebook campaigns all over Facebook, Google Ads, targeting dealer networks, individuals, farmers, construction companies, trucking companies. We target individual items to individual clientele. I mean, there's a lot that goes on behind the scenes. I have a buddy in Nebraska, and he does most of my marketing, and he works really hard at it, and we work hard at it also to get the content and get him the stuff that he needs. And we do some of it ourselves in-house, but he does a lot of it, and it's a lot of work that goes into the advertising, getting the brochures made, getting them printed off, getting the ads running, getting everything on all the websites so people know about it. It's a lot of work that goes on with that. And it takes time, and that's what I encourage. If you're thinking about bringing something to an auction, get it there early, get it to us early, get it consigned early. That way we have time to get it advertised. The more time you got it out there, the more eyes that can see it, and the more potential buyers we can have there to bid on it.
I got you. So you're not just printing off this colored sheet of printer paper and tacking it up at the local hardware store. I mean, you're really hustling to get this to get their equipment just worldwide, nationwide, to potential buyers all over the U.S. and all over the world. Man, that's what it takes to get that market price. I feel like
We've had guys show up at the auction from China. I said, man, where y'all from? I couldn't understand anything. They were from China. They flew in to look at 2 cotton pickers, and there was 2 sets of them, two totally different groups of guys. And both of them had flew in from China to try to bid on these cotton pickers we had. And then another time we had a guy from Alaska show up. He wanted to buy a tractor we had there. He had one identical to it, and parts are hard to get up there, so he was going to get the matching tractor and have 2 of the same one, so it interchanged. And it's really unbelievable where people come from, and you never know.
That's mind blowing that people from Alaska, from China would travel all the way here to Hickory Flat for an equipment auction. But when you've got the equipment, you've got the equipment to sell, to move, to trade on. And you market it in such a way that y'all do, it's no wonder you get those buyers. So that's man, that's something to definitely to consider as a seller. Riles Auctions, they're for sure hustling to get your equipment out there on the market, and that's kind of how I became a part of this team. Is you brought me in to kind of help with the video and trying to get the equipment approved, or not approved, but get the equipment viewed in such a way that it doesn't leave any question marks for the buyer, that they can see it operate, they can see it drive, they can see the PTO shaft spin and sop and all of that. And that's kind of how me and you have come together on this. And I mean, it's these Riles Auctions, man, they're top notch. Man, the Riles family, man, has been a pillar in this community for generations now. And you can ask anybody around here that this is a family you can trust. And that's what a lot of sellers and buyers are looking for. They're looking for an auction family or an auction company that is a family that they can trust. And it's hard to find that nowadays. But Riles Auctions, y'all are top notch. Y'all are hardworking. Y'all are honest and full of integrity.
I appreciate that.
And and the buyers, sellers, whoever's out there watching, this is a company that you can take notice of and feel confident in doing business with them. So let's segue into our next bit here. So you've been around the auction industry for some time now. You've got to have a pretty crazy story or a wild story, and it may have not have been something from years ago. It may have been something from this previous sale. What's one of those stories that just pop out that's just kind of a wow factor of what the auction industry is all about?
We've got a few of them, but I don't know. Recently, probably the John Deere 7210 at the last auction. 1,800 hours, one owner. A man passed away. His wife had the tractor. She didn't know really what to do with it. Got his brother involved, and he knew us, knew my dad over the years, and trusted us to consign the tractor to our sale and let us market it and get it advertised. And it was pouring down rain that day. And when we got to the tractor, and there was a family, a man and a woman come in from Missouri, Joplin area, and then there was another man and a woman, a friend of ours from over in Alabama. And he really likes those tractors, and he wants them when we get them. He really wants them. And that man and woman from Missouri, they stood there and stood through the rain. They stood tall on it and they bought the tractor, and they've been pleased with it so far. And I don't think they would those are hard to find tractors. Pre-emissions, they're early models. They're the good ones. All metal tractor. They're good tractors.
Yeah. Let's take just a moment and watch a clip of that action unfold.
Yeah, check that out.
Hey, I'm going to get 71. Now 72. Now 72. Now 73. Now 73. 4. 74. 5. You said 4 and 5. 75. 6. 76. 75. $76,000. You going to be 6? 75. 6. 75. $6,000. Hey.
More time, we'll put them out. More time, we'll put them back.
That's a once in a lifetime. 76. Now 77, Gary. Now 78. Hey, Bim, look up here at me just a minute. Don't miss that tractor. $78,000. $78,000. $78,000. $78,000. 77, 8. $8,000. 77, 8 on them, $8,000. You stood here all day waiting on this tractor. This food is 78,000. 77, 5. 78,000, Gary.
Yeah!
Now 78,5. Now you jumped this $500 rabbit. We need to run it. 78,5. 79,000, Gary. 79,5. 79,5. Now 80,000. Now 80,000. 80,000. 80,500, ma'am. 80,500. He's saying no, she's saying yes. I don't know what we're going to do. 80,500. Hey, y'all back up so I can look at that lady. 80,500, ma'am. Hey, lady, I won't ask you again. 80,500. You done? You're done. You're sure you're done. You've quit 3 times already. You do know that. You're done. I don't blame you. 80,500. 80,000. I ought to be at him. I'm about to be 500. 80,000. Right there. 80,500. Sold that tractor for $80,000, up there.
Man, that's what I love. Is it was so unpredictable. Like you never know who's watching, who's ready to pounce, and how the market's going to go. It's like in that scenario, it was pouring rain. It was kind of cool, and we met the couple from Missouri that the day before, and we knew they were interested. And then your previous customers, they were there. They were going back and forth after, and, I didn't know the couple from Alabama. And had I just been, as just a bystander there, I'd have never thought in a million years that lady there would have been interested in that tractor,
I think the man played it right. He brought his wife.
Yeah,
Had her on board. They had it going on both sets.
Yeah, they. So you had these two women going after this rare tractor, and and there was buzz all week long about what that tractor would bring, because it was a rare find, and there wasn't really any of those comps to really compare it to. And so, kind of had an idea what it would bring, but kind of elaborate on how that rare item just went above and beyond market value, I guess. Which we still don't really know what market value is, because it's one of a kind.
That week there, that both of those couples done what you're supposed to do. Both of them, the guy from Alabama, he come in earlier that week, was passing through, and he stopped in, checked the tractor out, drove it around, found out he liked it, and he went home, got his wife, and they come back to the sale. And then the couple from Missouri, they come in Friday evening, checked the tractor out, drove it, checked everything, found out they liked it, made sure it was what they thought it was, and went and got a hotel, showed up the next day, and they bought it. But there's no way to really know on tractors like that. There's no comparables. It's not like, they're just not out there. They're hard to find. I mean, you can find them, but not with that low of hours. And that was a very rare bird, and it showed itself.
Yeah.
They'll stand for a nice piece of equipment. Will stand for itself. We need to promote it and market it, but normally it takes care of itself.
Yeah, and we did, and you did just that. I remember the week prior to that, we were really pushing to get videos and photos of that 7210 out there, to let the buyers know, look at what's here.
Well, you did the video, so you have to.
Yeah, I helped a little, and so you made sure it went to the right markets,
Yeah.
and so anyway, yeah, you know, that's what I love about auctions, are how unpredictable they are. You know, as you've seen in that video, there was a good crowd there fighting the rain. And I dare say, if we would have just started the video with a crowd overview and had you ask which two people were going to bid on this tractor, I doubt anybody on social media would have picked those two ladies to be the ones fighting over that tractor. But it was, and that's auction for you, and it's exciting. All right, here we are. We're about to wrap this first podcast up, and I know this has been a surreal feeling for you, because when I first met you, this was one of the first things you mentioned was having this dream of doing this podcast. And so here we are, we're getting the first episode out, getting it first one under our belt. So tell our viewers, tell our listeners what they can expect from this podcast, from the auction block. What do we got in store for them?
I appreciate your help getting this up and running. I hope it goes well, and I hope everybody at home will enjoy it. But I don't know. Going forward, I think we're going to try to. Our plans are to do weekly episodes. We're going to give tips from buyers and sellers, hopefully, and get market insight for construction equipment, farm equipment, transportation equipment, and not just equipment auctions. I want to bring in some other auctions. There's more to the world than just equipment. There's cattle auctions. There's merchandise auctions, car auctions. There's a lot of different auctions. Real estate. I mean, there's a lot of auctions out there, and I don't want this to just be strictly on equipment. So we're wanting to kind of broaden our horizon and let other people know that there's other forms of auctions out there. But we're going to talk about that, get special guests, some dealers, mechanics, farmers, and like I said, other auction companies, other types of auction companies, and let them all come in maybe and tell what they do and open up our horizons to what all's out there in the world of auctions.
And that, and this is something that you've mentioned to me briefly as well, is, you don't want this podcast just to be strictly about Riles Auction, but you want it to be about the auction industry in a whole, and to grow the auction industry, to make it a household thing. That it's not just a thing of the past, but it's something that becomes a new modern niche, if you would. So folks, that's what you can look forward to here at the auction block. And whether you're in a tractor cab, driving between job sites, working the ground, or sipping coffee in the recliner in the mornings, we want this podcast to be something for you to look forward to every week. And I'm your co-host, Benjamin, and that's a wrap for me.
Well, I appreciate y'all watching. Do us a favor, like or subscribe to Spotify, Apple, YouTube. Like us on Facebook. Go to Riles Auctions. Give us a like. All of our videos will be posted there. And if there's ever anything we can do for you, give us a call. Our next sale is June the 7th. We're taking consignments now, and we'd love to earn your business. If you got questions, give us a call, 662-274-4708. We'll be live on Equipment Facts and on our own platform, bid.rilesauctions.com. Share it with your buddies and help us grow this thing. Thank you.